Let's recap what we've got going on so far. The eye of the storm is beginning to, what do you got, Steve?
It's just skirting the coast of Cuba.
Right, we've got the eye of the storm beginning to make contact now with the island of Cuba, which is a great thing. Well, I say it's a great thing. Obviously, we don't want the good folks of Cuba, the residents there, to suffer. But it's good for our forecast as that eye wall becomes interrupted. The circulation over land could be a benefit. There's still some pretty decent mountain ranges here, and as that eye continues to the west, it will encounter more and more land mass, which is never a good thing for the strength of the system. Hurricane hunters are flying nonstop through this system until it makes landfall. They are not coming out of the air. So they will be giving us updated information on the strength of this storm to the Hurricane Center on a continual basis, which is helpful. So what are we waiting for? We're waiting to see this forward motion stop. Once that forward motion stops, then we can anticipate a turn to the north with time. And there may even be just a little bit of a northward motion beginning. I'm seeing that right now as I talk to you. You and I are seeing this together. Perhaps just a little, it could be a wobble, it could be the beginnings of a northward motion. We'll have to wait and see what the hurricane hunters find, but we'll be watching with great interest as that progresses through time. Rain showers now beginning to occur over the Florida Keys right now in South Florida, some of them producing some pretty heavy inundating rain. Because of the wide swath of the rainfall that's associated with the circulation of this storm, and because it'll be coming at us over Gulf waters where it can continue to enrich its moisture supply, we've got a big concern in terms of freshwater rainfall and what that would do to our already saturated and swollen rivers. There is certainly the possibility of some more river flooding down the road. And in fact, that's a large concern now as the track has shifted a little bit more to the west. You can see the eye wall kind of filling with cloud cover here as that eye wall kind of fills, or not the eye wall, but the eye itself, that center portion around the eye wall, begins to fill with cloud cover. Kind of an indication that perhaps we're seeing an expanding eye and a decrease perhaps a little bit in intensity of this storm. Still, it is forecast to reemerge out over warmer waters and then begin to strengthen. We've got some pretty close to tropical storm force wind speeds throughout South Florida right now, and in many places having already exceeded tropical storm force. Wind gusts in the Keys have already exceeded tropical storm force in terms of gusts. We're still good across our area, and I think today won't be a bad day at all. The storm system lifts northward, and computer models are kind of clustered around a solution that tends to be further to the west. So maybe the eye of this storm will be pushed, or the track of this storm will be pushed a little bit further to the west. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen with the 11 a.m. update, which should be coming any moment, actually. The clustering of the good model still put the storm very close to the Florida coastline. And I'll tell you what, even if it moved a little bit further offshore, you know, it might be good in terms of wind speeds. It would certainly not be all that great in terms of, no, we're still at the 8 a.m. forecast in terms of storm surge. So 130-mile-an-hour winds continuing on a track that takes it up toward the Florida Keys. Keys residents are going to have a time of it as they head into tonight. I think they're going to see some pretty heavy winds. They're going to see some inundating rains. And then Sunday, by around 2 in the afternoon, that storm system will have moved over them and beginning a trek that takes it toward the west central Florida coastline. Perhaps moving on a line that takes it very, very close to us, the eye of the storm. Now, bear in mind, still a large cone of error here. That track could go, that red center line, don't focus on that too much, could go all the way over to the west side or all the way over to the east side, although I think it's probably more likely all the way over to the west side, and it would still be considered an accurate, good forecast. That's what the error looks like at this point. By Monday afternoon, that storm system will be lifting north of us. So Sunday night into Monday morning, during the nighttime hours, will be the worst of the weather for us. And at that point, we could see some wind gusts, in excess of 140 miles. We could see sustained winds at 80 to 100 miles. All of it depends on where that storm is and what the strength of the eye wall is at that time. Those are just some of the concerns. There are other concerns that extend beyond just the strength of the storm and the location of that center line. They go out well beyond even this cone of uncertainty, the influence of the storm. And those include heavy flooding rainfall, they include tornadoes, they include storm surge, which increasingly looks like it could be a serious problem for parts of the Sun Coast, with as much as a 10-foot storm surge in a worst-case scenario, and certainly widespread 3 to 5-foot storm surge, if not greater, especially along concave areas of the shoreline. Waiting for an update from the Hurricane Center on this. Should be coming through in just mere moments. We'll bring that to you as soon as we get it. Back to you guys.